Hello, today we will start a new video series in which we will cover some useful functions that you might use in your projects. In this today's video, we will see two functions, ISNULL function and COALESCE function, and the difference between these two functions. Both perform the same operations. Basically, if you have a column which might have null values, and you don't want to select null values, so you want to replace it with some default value or a different column, so you can use ISNULL function. So ISNULL function, let me run this. If you see, ISNULL function will first check if the first argument is null or not. It is null, then it will go for the second argument and it will display that argument's value. But if the first argument is not null, then it will select the not null value. So first it is checking is null. Is the first argument null? No, it is not null. Then it will give the output as the first argument. So your whatever column is your preference, you will add that column here, and the second preferred column you will add it here. So let's see it with an example. I have this table and these columns. I have this columns country region code, English country region name, Spanish country region name, and I want to select country from this column, country region name, country region code. So I can directly select it, but as you can see I have some null values. So let me run this query and then we will see how it is working. I've just added these three columns for reference. So let's look at the row number 4. If is null for country region code, comma, English country region name. So if this is not null, then it will return country region code. So in this case, country region code has a not null value AU, so country is AU. But in case of first row, country region code is null, so it will go for the second column, which is this, and second column has value Australia. So it will select Australia as the value. What happens if I am not satisfied with both these columns and I want to add another column? So let me copy this column, paste it here, and let's see what happens. You will get an error. ISNULL function requires 2 arguments. So that is the difference between ISNULL and COALESCE, and this is a limitation of ISNULL function. So let's now look at COALESCE function. So COALESCE function, as I have written here, takes multiple arguments. So let's say instead of 2, I am giving it a list of 5 arguments. So if I run this, it will always go for the first non-null value. So the first value is itself is non-null, so it is just displaying YouTube as the answer. But if the first value was null, let me just copy this and paste it here. So and run this. So what will happen here? It will look for the first not null value. So this is null, this is null, this is null. All the 4 values are null. Then it will go with the last value, which is Yogji. So it has displayed that value. But if, let's say, I run the second command, the first value is null, second value is not null, so it doesn't have to read the remaining values. It has reached the first not null value and it will display that as the output. Let's see it with an example. So I have a COALESCE function. First I want to select only 2 columns, and if both of them don't have a value, I will just give a default not available value, which is sometimes used in projects. That's why I'm using it here for example. So in case of, let's say, the first value, first row, the first column is null, so it went for the second column, which is Australia. Fine, we get Australia. But in second row, both the columns are null, so it will go for not available and then you can see it is not available. Fine. Now let's see, I'm not even satisfied only 2 columns, I want to select 3 columns. So we can even do that. Now I have 1, 2, 3 columns, and fourth a default value. So I have a list of 4 arguments. Let's see what happens. So in the case of first row, it will select the first not null value. So the first not null value after country region code is Australia. So it has selected Australia. In the case of second row, this is null, this is null. Spanish country region name is not null, so it has selected that value Australia. But if all 3 are null, then as a error handling I have added not available. So this is null, this is null, this is null. It will go for the last default value which is not available. So this is basically the use of COALESCE function, and this is how it differs from the ISNULL function. Usually in your projects you will use ISNULL function, that should be enough, but in case you are relying on multiple columns, then better go with COALESCE function. It will simplify your logic, and you can reduce the query performance. So I hope this video was useful. In the next videos I will cover some more useful functions, and thanks for watching this video.